All the time. God is good. God is good. As you know, I'm Ghanaian, and in our culture, growing up, we grew up on stories. Our parents, especially our grandparents, taught us things we needed to know through stories. Some of these stories are fabricated, obviously, but the importance of them was what lay in them in teaching us. For example, stories like why the spider always hides in the corner of walls, or why the hawk is usually looking to steal the chicks from chickens. Now, when you delve into those stories, you realize that they are there, or they were told us, to try and simplify things for us so that we can understand the point of the lesson that we were being taught. And that's why, I don't know if you've heard me speak at the front a lot of the time, I love to study God's word and see God's face through the stories that are told in the Bible. And today is going to be no different. But before we get to that, please bear with me. Just a couple of minutes. The leader has given me 5 extra minutes, and I'm going to use every single second of it. So just bear with me. So just imagine, everybody, your dream holiday destination, right? Just in your mind, exactly. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about what it's going to cost. Just have it in your mind, okay? Are we all? You're on holiday right now. Okay, right. Okay. Just picture it, right? Like I said, money is not a problem. It's not an object at all. And I'll tell you why it is not. So we all have our dream holiday destination. Right. So Des comes to you and says to you, right. So everyone, we know our holiday destination, right? Des comes to you and says to you, right, okay, Uncle Gabriel, your holiday destination, what is it? Did you pick one? Anywhere in the world you'd love to go to.
Of course, my God.
It can't be Nigeria. No, please. It can't be Nigeria or Ghana, wherever you're from. No. A proper holiday. Nigeria. Okay. You know, this is what shows that when we come to preach, right, we don't pay people to say things we want to say. This is just raw, okay? So, okay. Anybody else Christine? Hawaii. Okay. Hawaii. Excellent. So, Christine, Des comes to you and says to you that, right, your dream holiday destination to Hawaii is going to be paid for. Everything from clothes that you're going to take on holiday to whatever travel, everything is paid for, right? Des then says to you, the only thing that you need to do is just to pay for your passport, apply for your passport, right? What would you think? Would you think, this is too good to be true, right? What is Des up to? Why is Des? Naturally, that's what we would think, right? I mean, Des, I'm not saying Des would not do that. In fact, if you do think like that, come to me first. Okay? Don't go to Christine or anyone else. Come to me first. Right? You'll be thinking, well, actually, hang on. What have I done for Des to bring this? It gets even better. So Des then comes to you and says to you, right, okay, your dream house. Again, money is not an object. Anywhere you want your dream house, he's going to build it for you. Everything is done. Everything is done. All you need to do, literally, all you need to do is to pay the solicitor's fee for getting all this together. You sort of be thinking, right, okay, hang on. Solicitor's fees can't be, hypothetically, any more than, say, £1,000. For the sake of this, right? Can't be more than £1,000. But I know that for me, my dream house is a 5-bedroom house. It has to have a walk-in wardrobe, not for me, for my wife. It has to have a conservatory, you know. It has to have a big space outside. Now, that is going to cost a lot more than £1,000, right? So what Des is offering me is so much in exchange for so little that I have to do. He's going to do all the heavy lifting. He's going to do all the heavy lifting. All I have to do, thanks. No, Des is coming to me first, by the way. Not you. There's a line behind me. So Des is offering me something so much for so little. So much for so little. For the holiday, a passport doesn't cost any more than, what? £60, £100 at most, in exchange for a holiday in Hawaii. Well, you may ask me, well, why am I going on about this? We've been talking about amazing grace over the last few weeks. That is what grace is. Where God is offering us so much in exchange for very, very little. and the story that I want us to look at to help us appreciate more this issue of us being given so much in exchange for so little. It's in 2 Kings chapter 5 from verse 1 to 16. It's a story that hopefully we all know quite well. It's a story of the commander of the Syrian army called Naaman. And his example, the story in here, is very much akin to what we just tried to do with Des offering us all this. See, Naaman was a man of wealth and of power and of position. He was the commander of the Syrian army. In fact, to the extent where he was probably second in command to the king of Syria. But we're told that Naaman had leprosy. Let's read from verse 1, shall we? 2 Kings chapter 5, I beg your pardon, from verse 1. Naaman, commander of the army of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master and in high favor, because by him the Lord had given victory to Syria. He was a mighty man of valor, but he was a leper. Now, leprosy, back then, thankfully, leprosy, I think, is something that, by God's grace, is not so much of an issue now. But back then, leprosy was, you had leprosy, and you were pretty much ostracized. It was pretty much a death sentence if you didn't get a cure for it. So this man of power, of valor, of riches, has leprosy. Verse 2, now the Syrians, on one of their raids, had carried off a little girl from the land of Israel, and she worked in the service of Naaman's wife. She said to her mistress, would that my lord were the prophet who is in Samaria, he would cure him of his leprosy. So Naaman went in and told his lord, thus and so spoke the girl from the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, go now, and I will send a letter to the king of Israel. So he went, taking with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 changes of clothing. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, which read, when this letter reaches you, know that I have sent to you Naaman my servant, that you may cure him of his leprosy. And when the king of Israel read the letter, he tore his clothes and said, am I God to kill and to make alive, that this man sends word to me to cure a man of his leprosy? Only consider and see how he is seeking a quarrel with me. But when Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his clothes, he sent to the king, saying, why have you torn your clothes? Let him come now to me, that he may know that there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman came with his horses and chariots and stood at the door of Elisha's house. And Elisha sent a messenger to him, saying, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored, and you shall be clean. But Naaman was angry and went away, saying, behold, I thought that he would surely come out to me. Remember, Naaman is a man of position. He has wealth. He is respected. I would have thought that he would surely come out to me and stand and call upon the name of the Lord, his God, and wave his hand over the place and cure the leper. See, Naaman was expecting something grand, something big in exchange for so little. We'll get to it. Are not Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Could I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned away and went away in a rage. But his servants came near and said to him, my father, it is a great word that the prophet has spoken to you. Will you not do it? Has he actually said to you, wash and be clean? So he went down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the word of the man of God. And his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. I turned down Des's offer for my dream house. Christine turns down Des's offer for her dream holiday. Well, why? Is it because it just seemed too good to be true? That for all these incredible things that Des is offering, all he wants is something that's insignificant. Something that really, in the grand scheme of things, is not costing me anything. In fact, Des is paying the price. He's carrying the expectation, all the load upon himself. All I need to do is just something simple. Something simple. And in trying to understand why perhaps we're not so different to Naaman when it comes to the grace of God and accepting it and being wholeheartedly grateful for it, we come to the notion that perhaps Naaman had a perceived notion that, look, you know what? Grace requires me to do something equally amazing. For Des to do what he's doing to me, or for me, I have to do something, or I would have had to do something equally amazing. Naaman, in his own mind, had an idea of how the exchange of grace should have happened. He thought that the prophet would have come out in his elegant robes, with a mighty procession, come and stand before him and address me, because I am Naaman, I'm the commander of the great army. He just couldn't understand it. To the extent that to get the cure for such a deadly disease, like I said, you had leprosy, it was pretty much a death sentence back then. And in exchange for his cure, this man is telling him to do probably it sounds simple, but perhaps not conventional. All he had to do for this incredible, life-changing, life-restoring gift of grace, he had to go and dip not just once, 7 times in possibly the filthiest river there was in that time. And some versions tell us that it wasn't almost like a dip of the toe or dip to the knees. He had to submerge himself in it. Something so simple, so unconventional in exchange for so much more. And that is brings us to one of the key points for our discussion this morning. I see pride prevents us from seeing grace. It prevents us from seeing grace for what it is. And then subsequently, it prevents us from actually accepting that grace. Let's go to verse 13, please, shall we, of the same chapter. The servant asks, "My father, if the prophet had told you to do something equally as great as what you were getting in exchange, would you not have done it?" So imagine the prophet Elisha says to Naaman, you know what, in exchange for your healing, and this was not, a thing that he was going to get healed and then it might come up again. This was complete cure. Cure means there is no way it's coming back. Imagine if the prophet had said to Naaman, go and kill 1,000 people. And you're going to get your healing. That's Elisha asking him to do something great. In his mind, he thinks, for me, considering my position and what I do, something as grand as this is what I need to do in order to deserve the gift of grace, which was the healing. Because it just wasn't adding up. A complete cure for such a deadly sin, and all I have to do is just go and dip 7 times in water. All Christine has to do to go on this dream holiday is just to pay for her passport, which cost £100. A trip to Hawaii, all inclusive, all expenses paid, all activities paid for. I don't think £500 will really be enough to tip the people in the restaurant. But you see, grace brings an inconceivable reality, and it's this. You and I, we just need to do the simple and the humble. Because God has already done the hard work. That's the inconceivable reality. We just need to do the simple and the humble. For God has done the great act already. Verse 10 tells us that he was to go and dip himself 7 times. Okay, let's put it into perspective. Just imagine the River Lagan. I've never been in it before, so I can't attest to how dirty or filthy it is. But for the context of this, all the waste that we produce in our homes, right? The River Jordan back then, all the waste that we produce in our homes, from the kitchen, from the bathroom, from the ladies, from the gents, all of that goes into the River Jordan. or in today's story, into the Lagan River. You come to Pastor D and you need healing. Pastor D says to you, knowing very well what is in the Lagan River, Pastor D says to you, go in there, don't just dip your toe or your finger, your whole body, submerge yourself 7 times. It's foolish, right? Absolutely preposterous. Not just the fact that, what if, and then just imagine that BBC and I are going to come and video the whole thing. So everybody's going to see it. Right? All your colleagues will see it. All your friends, all your neighbors are going to see that knowing what is in the River Lagan, you're going to dip yourself in it 7 times. You think, well, what if it doesn't work? Number one, I've got an image to protect. What are people going to think? I was foolish enough to go and dip myself in the filthiest of rivers, and then now it didn't work. It was a foolish suggestion for Naaman to do in exchange for something that was far greater, far, far greater. It was just too good to be true. Have we ever thought along those lines that the grace of God by which we're saved is just too good to be true? That no matter what I've done in the past, no matter what I do now, and even the ones I'm going to do in the future, it's all paid for. So long as I do this one simple thing. And we'll come to it. And I was thinking about, well, why did Elisha not actually come out to see Naaman? Because we're told that Naaman came with his whole entourage to Elisha's door. He stood at this door with all these. But why did Elisha not go and meet him? Yet he sent the word. And I believe Elisha did so because he wanted Naaman in that moment to know that this gift of grace was absolutely free from God. It wasn't something that he himself was doing. And likening it to Des and what Des was offering, it wasn't something that Des was doing. It was because of the grace of God upon his life that he's able to offer such. You see, grace does not add up, does it? It does not. Because God did all of that for us, knowing fine well that we have done, that we are doing, and we will do some absolutely terrible things. Knowing that we will let him down time and time again, that we will turn our backs on him with all good intentions and purposes. Knowing all of that, he still gives us this grace. It just doesn't add up, does it? It's still good to be true. But the beauty of it all is when it comes to grace, it is true. It is. See, it appeared foolish in Naaman's eyes. In his eyes as a mortal man, it appeared foolish. It appeared just too simple. But from God's perspective, grace, his grace for you and for me, is a God-designed cure for our deadly disease, which is sin. God called it grace. Amazing grace. Are we getting the point of grace yet? Because I don't think Naaman did. He thought he had to pay for the grace. Let's go to Romans chapter 6, verse 23, shall we? For the wages of sin is death. Because like Naaman, we have a deadly disease, which is sin. And sin is deadly because, number one, God is holy. We're not. He's perfect. We're not. He's righteous. We seek to be righteous. But in our natural state as humans, we're not righteous. So, sin is deadly because here we have a perfect, righteous, holy God who simply cannot dwell with the opposite. God cannot dwell with imperfection. He cannot dwell with unholiness. He cannot dwell with unrighteousness. He cannot dwell with sin. Because he's a perfect and holy God. But let's go to John chapter 6, verse 29. John 6, 28 to 29, I beg your pardon. It says this. Then they asked him, what must we do to do the works God requires? Verse 29. Jesus answered, the work of God is this, to believe in the one that he has sent. It's too simple, isn't it? Surely not. To get eternity, all I need to do is just stand in front of you and wholeheartedly proclaim that I believe in Jesus Christ, the one who died on the cross to save me. I'm going to get baptized as a public act of my confession that I stand on that unequivocally. I am not ashamed. That's all I need to do for eternity. No, that's too good. No. I need to do some more. I need to help all the surgeons cure everybody of cancer in Northern Ireland. That will get me close enough. That will balance the books. Because me just simply doing what I've just said to you, no, can't be. It's too good. It's too good to be true. You see, it seems so simple to you and I, the idea of grace. But to God, it doesn't surprise him. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 18, shall we? Ella, sorry, will you help me on the keys, please, as we come to a close? For the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing. But to us who are being saved, it is the power of God. You see, in today's culture, like Pastor D said yesterday, last Sunday when he preached, our society today teaches us that if I want to, get ahead in life, it's all down to me. And he said, yes, in an extent, absolutely. If I'm in school, I need to learn, I need to apply myself, because we know that God is going to take what I have and he's going to apply his grace to that, and it's going to multiply. It doesn't mean it's all on me, but our society says if I want to get ahead, it's all on me. Society teaches us that if I want muscles, what do I have to do? I have to not only eat right, I have to go to the gym. So in essence, this concept of if I want to be where I want to, it's all on me. But you see, grace tells the opposite. Grace tells us that we just need to do the simplest of things. And I think like Naaman, sometimes we think that God has a quota. We seem to think that in order for us to fully accept his grace, we need to meet a quota. See, he doesn't shout from heaven that, right, okay, in order for us to avail of his grace, we need to do 500 million things that are good. He doesn't shout that out from heaven. Do 5 million good things, and that's your ticket into heaven, or that's your ticket to grace. No, he doesn't do that. In fact, he doesn't. Let's look at Matthew 18 from verse 21 to 22 to prove that God does not have a quota. Then Peter came to Jesus and said, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother when he sins against me? Up to 7 times? Because to me, there has to be a quota. But Jesus answered, I tell you, not 7 times, but 70 times 7. Because I'm going to lose count. Those of you who are good at maths, 70 times 7 is what? It's too many to be counting. You're going to lose count. Even when it comes to him blessing us, there's no limit. There's no quota for his blessing. Let's look at Ephesians chapter 3 from verse 20 to 21. Now to him who is able to do immeasurably. English is not my first language, but immeasurably to me means you can't measure it, which means there's no quota to it. More than all we ask or imagine. It's immeasurable. So when it comes to forgiveness, when it comes to him maybe, correcting us, there's no quota. When it comes to him blessing us equally, there's no quota to it. In fact, he shouts from heaven and says, this is my son. This is the cross upon which he died to pay the penalty for you and for me. This is the grave from which he arose to pay for all of your sins. So it is all paid for. That's what he shouts. So no matter what I'm in right now, no matter how many times I end up back where I started, because of his grace. Because of his grace. All I need to do is the simple thing. put my faith in him, put my trust in him and him alone. You see, when you're honest with yourself, when you're real, when you're raw, where my wife and I belong to, we have a young couples group that we belong to, and at times they make fun of my wife in that. My wife will say this to you herself, that she's, when it comes to, on social media, people, they perfect what they project on social media, don't they? Especially these reality TV, you seldom see the raw content. So the point I'm trying to get to is, in our young couples group, my wife is seen as the raw content creator. In that, whatever she posts, you are guaranteed that is exactly what happened. So whether the food is burnt or not, that's what you see on the social media. Whether she's with her babies or she's carrying a baby and there's snot all over the baby's face, it's gone onto her clothes, that is what you see. And that's what grace demands from you and I. Grace demands us to be raw, just as we are. Do the simple things just as we are. Because once we do that, that's when we tap into the real blessing of grace. Have you gotten the point of grace just yet? Now I believe we'll probably, because of who God is, we will never really comprehend the true meaning of grace until we get to heaven. But I think we're getting there. Because grace, as we know, I'm sure you agree with me, is unmerited. I'll speak for myself, because if grace was merited, church, I will not be here. I don't know about you. I'm just speaking about me. If grace was merited, I will not be here, because I don't think I've done enough. And I don't think I'll ever do enough to earn this free grace. It's undeserved. It's unworked for. It is free. See, Naaman was cured, but he still didn't grasp the concept of grace. God has taken you from where you used to be and he's brought you here, but you still can't understand. But God, really? Because that thing that you took me from, every now and then, I slip back there. No, grace can't abound. Because in my head, I think I'm perfect. But grace tells me that grace exists because I'm imperfect. In verse 15 of chapter 5 of 2 Kings, we're told that Naaman brought all of these things to pay for his cure. And Naaman and all his attendants went back to the man of God, stood before him and said, "Now that there is no God in all the world except in Israel, please accept now a gift from your servant." And in today's world, you want to guess how much of things he took to pay for his cure, to pay for grace? Over £1 million worth of gold, silver, and goods. He saw grace as a gift that needed to be paid for with money. We don't pay for grace. Grace is freely given. The only price we need to pay for grace is just to accept it. Just do the simple thing. Walk into that river. Dip ourselves in it 7 times. And I believe that the River Jordan for you and I is God's river of grace. It means going up to face that person who has tormented me for so many years, has wronged me for so many years, and saying, "I forgive you." For some of us, that is our dipping in the River Jordan. For some of us, that's what it is. I forgive you. For some of us, our River Jordan is coming to terms with how we serve and honor God with our finances and saying, "Lord, I give my finances over to you. As you've instructed me to do, I am to give you my tithe." That is somebody's River Jordan. For some of us, our River Jordan is standing up in the face of adversity. When people are laughing at us and mocking us, "Oh yeah, you say there's a God who has saved you and you're saved," yet every now and then you slip back to where you were. Standing up and trusting God that He's the one who brought you this far. That might be your River Jordan. Grace is that simple. Yes, it's simple. But don't be mistaken, it was not easy. Because the price that was paid for grace, the grace that has brought you and I here, was definitely not easy. And it was not cheap. it would have bankrupted you and me. Again, I'll speak for myself. The price that was paid for grace would have bankrupted me. It would have wiped me out. And God knew that, so He paid for it all. Let's call it simple. Let's call grace simple. Let's call it a gift. At church, let's never, ever be mistaken and call grace easy, because the price that was paid for grace was not easy at all. Let's call it whatever it is, or whatever we do. Let's call it grace. Amazing grace. And if today you haven't experienced that amazing grace and you're here and you want to do so, please, after the service, in the interest of time, come and see myself or Pastor David or Tidawanga or Auntie Stella. And we will pray with you. We will pray with you. Call it whatever you want to call it, church. Don't call it easy. Call it amazing grace. The Lord bless you.